Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Galactic Less Known Classics. Excuse me. This is episode number 3191, Doubleshot 3085. I have two Punisher trades. The first one is going to be the final trade for Punisher War Journal Volume 2. Punisher War Journal Volume 5, Jigsaw, which contains issues 18 to 23 of the series. Yes, the writer of these issues is Matt Fraction, though in the last couple issues, Rick Remender joins it because he's going to be replacing him as the writer of the book for its relaunch, which came not long after this. The artwork of these issues are done by the awesome Howard Chaykin, which I think this... No, this wasn't the first time, basically, he did art for this book, but... And basically, this is the return of Jigsaw to the book. After a brief absence, I make a quick cameo in issue 11. This is actually, little fun fact, the first time Jigsaw has taken the Punisher since issue 10 of Volume 3, which came out in 1996. This was the first time in 12 years these two have seen each other. Now, yes, they did encounter each other in the Ultimate in the Max universe, but that's a completely different universe. In the main universe, it's been 12 years. Yep. Now, part of this, he had previously appeared in the pages of, basically, just part of this, he just appeared in the second annual for New Avengers, and also appeared in issue 35, which was the debut of the Hood's criminal gang. Yes, basically, Hood's is criminal empire. This was pretty much in a way the first appearance of the organization, and it is, simply put, basically a new, kind of a modern take on the, basically another take of Mass Steel, just basically, just stuff it with a bunch of, C-list villains, half of them, basically. Yeah, and when, of course, basically first started, it comprised the Hood, obviously, John King, Hood's cousin, Jigsaw, Crusader, Nitro, the man who started Civil War 1, who should basically been tried for what he did, Griffin, Cutthroat, Tiger Shark, Camistro, Armadillo, Dr. Dematigas, Mento, The Wrecking Crew, Crossfire, Mandrill, Controller, Constructor, Deathwatch, Purple Man, Mr. Fear, all four members of the UFOs, Blood Brother, Grey Gargoyle, The Answer, Blackout, Bushwhacker, Food Killer, one of them anyways, Mr. Hyde, Graviton, Jonas Hather, who later got killed off in these issues, Man in a Mask, who became Hood's girlfriend, and the Wizard. Yeah, Jonas Hather got killed off, pretty much, and of course, yes. So, basically, between issues 10 and this story arc here, here's basically what Jigsaw did. That came out in 96. His next actual appearance would not be until 2004, 8 years later, when he was brought back for a few issues of Bendis' Daredevil book. And then he was featured in the first 3 issues of New Avengers, which came out the fall, what basically came out not long after that. Appeared in the opening issues Spider-Man Breakout, a cameo in Punisher War Journal. In these issues of New Avengers, issue 35 and 2, after Stark Raptor appeared in 2 issues of New Avengers, 4650. He will return to Punisher, first in Flashpoint issue 9 of Rick Remender's run, and then he will also return for Punisher in the Blood, which will be the last time Punisher would fight him for 11 years. Yes, you heard that correctly. The last time he would ever face him for 11 years. And the reason? Because he was briefly dead, though he later came back for some weird reason. Currently, he's dead. He basically fought him again. He would actually return in the Matthew Rosenberg run, which the issue itself came out in 2018. So, 7 years between appearances. Yep, 7 years. At the appearance sporadically in that Punisher book. At the appearing a lot throughout that volume, and of course, we published Moon Knight. He did a couple of Captain America during the Ty Narakonis run, and finally got killed off in Punisher War Journal Brother One Shot. So yeah, kind of in a way with this, I'm pretty much in the way almost pretty much every single appearance of Jigsaw to date. Yep. So, basically issue 1 is all about him. Yes, it is talking about people he associated with. Basically him killing off the Grundy family, who I think were like crooked cops who appear in this book. Punisher appears in a flashback of the book. Yes, a flashback of his own book. Also, this story arc was the return of Lynn Michaels, aka the female Punisher. Yes, she did briefly issue 11, but prior to that, she had not been seen since the final issue of the previous Flying War Journal. Why in the world, basically, Marvel kept this woman away, I have no idea. And she's here for this very story arc, and then she's written out the series. Yes, the Punisher basically comes back in issue number 19 as the main character. Yeah, so... By the way, also, Lynn Michaels is posing as a woman named Dominante who was, get this, she was apparently dating Stuart Clarke, aka Rampage. Yep. And of course, we have a SHIELD task force deal with Punisher in here, led by G.W. Bridge. Members are Domino, Silver Sable, and Contessa Valentina Alighiera del Bottone. Yep. And they pretty much basically, we have to do with... Basically, issue 20 is a very infamous cover, which features all 3 ladies on the cover. These 3 smoking beautiful women. And of these 2 women, Domino is basically known for years as Cable's girl, Silver Sable is the Foreigner's ex-wife, and Contessa is Nick Fury's on and off girlfriend over the years. We also see the first appearance issue 20 of Lady Gorgon. Yep, Lady Gorgon. A character who will later pose as Frank Castle's dead wife. Yes. I am not kidding about that. This was her very first appearance. Though apparently they did kill... I thought basically that she apparently got killed off here. But I thought she came back. I think maybe it's somebody else. First appearance of Silhouette, who appears for just a couple appearances. And Illumination. Yeah, and of course, basically, the 3 hot ladies basically deal with it over the course of a couple issues. And Punisher, of course, is working with Liam Michaels, not at the beginning, but eventually she is. And of course, by issue 22, she's revealed to be dominant all along. Plus, of course, by sheer randomness, Rick Remender and Matt Fraction threw in the Wrecking Crew. Yep. As for the reason for this, I have no idea. It's weird. Punisher versus a group of Thor villains. Okay. Yeah. And the storyline is wrapped up with issue number 23. Where somehow the Rhino gets involved in these issues. And that's it. By the way, Howard Chaykin, amazing artist. I've met him in person. He's awesome. Big fan of the man's artwork. The man does great interiors. His covers are amazing too. I mean, here's some famous books he did. He did worked on. I mean, the first book that he's credited the work on as the interior artist is, I kid you not, Fear number 10, which I believe was the first issue of the series where Man-Thing was the star. He also did Chamber of Chills, an issue of Man's Adventures Volume 2, which is the star of the kid. I believe, yeah, this issue was the star of the, very popular, well, in my opinion, a really good run for Amazing Adventures, the Killraven Saga. He did the opening issue of that. He did a few issues of Submariner. He also issued 19, second issue of that book. He issued Savage Conan, UK Planet of the Apes, Called Barbarians, Mar Preview. We're thinking, what did he do for that one? This book he did the backup story, which focused on Dominic Fortune, this is a character he'll create. He did some issues of Marvel Spotlight, Marvel Premiere. He actually was the first artist for the original Marvel Star book for the 1970s. He did more issues of Conan the Barbarian along with it. He also was an artist for Micronauts, I think was issues 13, 18 of the original volume. He did some issues of Hulk. I believe these were the Moon Knight issues. Let's see. Let's see here. No, he did more Dominic Fortune stuff. Some Red Sonja, Hope for Heroes starring the X-Men, the Scroll Connection graphic novel, issue 50 of Essential She-Hulk, the 4-issue miniseries, The Midnight Men. Yep, he worked on this book. I haven't read it, but he did Ultraverse Origins, an issue of the miniseries Typhoid. Yes, part of the Marvel Edge stuff. He did, get this, he was the artist for Mark Guggenheim's Blade book. Yes, all 12 issues he did do. He also did Punisher issue 50, the Scorch the Max book. He did Run for Wolverine, the annual for Immortal Iron Fist. And he basically came on the artist's book issue 16, basically the previous trade. And he was the artist's book into issue 25. He didn't do the last issue. No, he did not. He also did War is Hell First Fly the Phantom Eagle miniseries. He was the artist for this one. This is a Max book by Garth Ennis. He did the one-shot Captain America Theater of War. He was one of the artists for Captain America 600. A Indomitable Iron Man one-shot. Yes, it's one of these black and white books. He did a volume of Rawhide Kid, issue 1000 of Deadpool, X vs. Vampires, Curse Mutants. Basically, he worked on some issues of New Avengers. I believe these were the issues they introduced. Yeah, I believe these were the issues that led to the debut of the 50s Avengers. A couple issues of home stuff. He did Fierce the Home Front, Avengers 159, an issue of Sword. His most recent book he worked on was Marvel Spider-Man Snapshots. But it's really good. He's also a good writer too. I mean, his most well-known book he's ever worked on, well, he helped create the book American Flag. He did that one, which was I haven't read it, but I've heard it's a loose take on American take on Judge Dredd a little bit. Yes, but sadly put, basically the writers, Matt Fraction, Rick Remender, don't work on Marvel Comics anymore. Rick Remender left in 2015 due to the reason why he left was because poor treatment. Yes, he was treated very poorly in Marvel Comics. Despite he put out really good comics. And if you're really curious, what was the last official comic he worked on before he left Marvel Comics? The answer is the Hell Hydra miniseries. Oh, and this is something interesting. I have, with this miniseries, with this run here, I have pretty much reviewed pretty much every single book that he worked on. And I'm looking at it right now, like, I think like maybe the only things left to go for him is just some What If one-shots, Wolverine one-shot. I think that's it, just some one-shots. But a lot for series-wise, yeah, this is the last one to cover. But in the case of this storyline, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We also have Alex Believe on the cover artwork, which is fantastic. I recommend checking this book out. I give this book overall, this trade here overall a 9 out of 10. Final thoughts on Punisher War Journal Volume 2. First in-universe Punisher book published while I've been reading comics. Yes, basically, the Punisher Max book did start when I started reading comics back in 2004, but I wasn't reading at that point. This is the first in-universe Punisher book that was to be published. Max was technically already started by the time I basically caught on the comics, but this is the first one. And then, of course, when this book ended after Secret Invasion tie-in, by the way, you have some really good story here. You have stuff with Civil War 1. You have the Going Out West. That cool stuff there. The stuff with Ted Craven Hunter. The issue where he fought the Hulk, which that was really interesting. You had this story here, and then you had Secret Invasion. That's it. It's only 26 issues and one annual. Yes, also what happens to Clarky? Well, Punisher at the end of the book decided to turn on him and inadvertently make him another Jigsaw. Yeah, that's basically what he did. Jigsaw himself, basically, of course, will return, find Punisher in Punisher in the Blood, which he died, and find Punisher again until Matthew Rosberg. Stuart Clark himself will return Punisher in the Blood after this book wrapped up, but he actually is still dead. Yep, he is still dead. Unlike Jigsaw, who came back, not Stuart Clarke. Oh no, he was dead. So apparently he came back in infamous Iron Man. Despite the fact he died in Punisher in the Blood. Yeah, he died. He came back somehow. Boss popped up with Defenders, a couple more issues of the main Iron book. His most recent appearance actually was in issue 25 of the Jed McKay run for Moon Knight. And he was still appearing as Jigsaw. I guess that he featured it because why not? But of course, basically, what happened with Punisher book after this? Well, like I mentioned, it got relaunched. Yes, as just Punisher, where it was on my recommender, which did 21 issues of the book, which was a little bit short in this book by about 5 issues. But since he started with this arc, he technically did the Punisher, Royal Punisher, for a little over 2 years, and then the book ended issue 21. Well, during that run, it got relaunched as was retitled to Punisher to the Freaking Castle book, which some people find that weird. Oh, and here's something I find interesting. That whole second half of that book, it's all one-shot paperback. Yeah, Marvel did not split it up at all. Nope, it's called Punisher Freaking Castle, and it's all 11 issues. Yes, all 11. As for the reason for this, I don't know. Those of you curious with Frank Castle, that was what Docket did to him in Dark Reign the List. Yep, he sliced him up, got reassembled by the Legion of Monsters to come up with Frankenstein monster. As the book ended, he got involved with Shadowland, had the Trial of the Punisher book. And I'm trying to think, I think like not long after that, he did have another Punisher book published by Beck Cohen, which is amazing. Actually, no, that was not next. It was, so after Trial of the Punisher, we had the Greg Rucka run. Yes, the Rucka run. Which, that established retcon, he was actually not well, that book established he was I think it was like a Persian Gulf vet, I think it was. Yeah, they retcon what war he served in that one. Hmm? Yes, at the Rucka wrapped up his run, I think that next was Trial of the Punisher. Yeah, I think that was next. Trying to think, what was next after that? For Punisher. Let's see. I think after Rucka wrapped up his run, I think was Beck Cohen. Yeah, Beck Cohen was next. And then it was Matthew Rosberg, which first was triple digit issues, which I still thought was kind of low, despite the fact that there's actually more than that amount. Then it got relaunched again, and after 16 issues, Punisher later returned in the Ravenclaw miniseries, where for some reason he was there, not sure how. He ultimately died, and then after the book wrapped up, then you probably think, oh, did he get a Punisher book after that? He kind of did. The King of Killer stuff, which had a very bad ending to the book. Which, yeah. I don't know if people pointing the blame at Jason Aaron for that. I'm going to point the blame at his editor for having him do that. That stupid ending where it retconned that, oh, Frank Castle was a bad father, he was a terrible husband. I'm like, you get to the end of that book, you're like, and throughout the book it was hints that, oh, maybe his memory is being manipulated by the Hand. Apparently it was all legit. Like, I think that was set up for that so it could be ignored. But then he got transferred to Weird World. Has not been seen since then, though he did appear in a flashback in issue of Daredevil. But My thinking is, if he ever came back, if Punisher himself, Frank Castle, came back, the first thing the writer would have to do is acknowledge the fact that the whole thing, the whole run, the whole Jason Aaron book was nothing more than him being manipulated, and the ending was a lie, and the woman who came back was just a copy of Maria Castle, not the actual woman per se. I would think that if anybody would do that, but as Punisher title itself, it would come back. But not Frank Castle in the title, nope, it's some other guy claiming to be the Punisher, because Marvel ruined the character, and I'll discuss that at some point. Oh, I will. Yeah. Despite the fact any longtime Marvel fan realized, though, you see this guy, that's not the Punisher. Frank Castle's the Punisher. Yeah. I'll discuss some points. It was rumored by Day of Purpose. I've been looking forward to discuss that one. But Punisher War Journal Volume 2 is something I was looking forward to reviewing. Now, I initially started reviewing this book back in 2016. But now I'm done. Yep. Next up, basically, we have is, get this, a Marvel Knights trade that collects issues from Punisher Volume 5 that is not collected in the complete collection by Garth Ennis. You're like, really? Yes, really. As for the reason for this, I have no idea. This book is called Marvel Knights Punisher by Peyer and Gutierrez, Taxi Wars, which collect the issues 8 through 12 of the book, along with the X-Men special in 2006, Spider-Man vs. the Punisher, and material from Marvel Knights Doubleshot number 4. Basically the backup story. In case you're curious, though, issue 8 was by Ron Zimmerman, and the last few issues are by Tom Peyer. The art with these issues basically is mostly Miguel Gutierrez. Steve Dillon did do some art for these issues. Yes. He did issues 1 through 7, 13 and 14, 18, 23, and 32. Mike Lilly did issue number 18. So, the very first issue, it's a standalone issue called When Frank Sleeps, which features the cover featured Punisher a Punisher Warner poster. Now this definitely is a standalone issue. Mike Lee does the art for this issue. And it just Punisher looks like he's in the middle of a war. It looks like with the Howling Commandos. He's fought alongside of him. This is why I think in World War II. There's Nick Fury free in this book. It seems like we just have guest stars galore. It doesn't feel like a traditional Punisher book. It's a okay standalone issue, but oh boy, the Taxi War storyline. Oh boy. This is what Tom Peyer came up with. It's a 4-parter where it's like the opening title of the storyline is called You Talking to Me? Which is a very famous line from Taxi Driver. Said by Robert De Niro. The Taxi War storyline, it is bizarre to say the least. Yes, you do have Tim Broadstreet on doing the cover art for these issues, but of course, basically, you read these issues, you're like, yeah, I get the reason why Marvel decided to skip these issues. Like, oh boy. The main villain of these issues is called Medallion. It's this overweight guy who is obsessed with taxis fighting each other. And his chair is basically the back of a taxi. And before someone comes to see him, he proceeds to strip down butt naked and send the guy in. I'm like, you're butt naked. Why the heck are you having people come and see you? But like, I put a towel over himself. And of course, his board is like, don't get up, boss. And then he tells his board, lose the clothes. I'm like, is Tom Peyer writing this chubby guy to be gay? To where basically he is... The way the art is drawn here, it's almost like he's lusting after a subordinate's physique. I'm like, why the heck is it like this for? I don't know. The whole heck, he has a limo in the book that's basically patterned after frickin' Taxi. I'm like, what the heck is this? By the way, Punisher does not play a role in his own frickin' book. Yes, it's all focused on Medallion and his group fighting other taxis. Oh, taxi here, taxi here. Like, it's like Tom Peyer is doing a taxi driver joke, this whole storyline. And like I said, you read these issues, you're like, no wonder why Marvel skipped these issues. These issues are terrible. The artwork is not good either. It is just bizarre, to say the least. Yeah, I am not a fan of these issues. Oh boy. And then we have the Punisher X-Men special release in 2006. This is done by Stuart Moore. Come on, get back to it, please. Come on. Oh my gosh, seriously, stop it. So in this one shot, it's basically like, oh, Punisher's making a naughty list. It's called The List. Written by, I mentioned Stuart Moore. You have C.B. Smith doing the artwork here. Or it's basically Punisher. I love the artwork of this one. With basically him going out to various people. And he ends up taking out one guy. It's done very much in dark silhouette. It's like, nice, don't kill these two people. There's a strip club in here. For an X-Men's one-shot, it does not feature much for Christmas at all. It just, oh, naughty nice list. Kill a bunch of people. Punisher, that's all he does in here. I finished reading it, so I'm like, really? That's just Punisher one-shot nutshell. This book. Is it bad? Yes, it's bad. Oh my gosh, this book is horrible. Yes. Next up, basically, we have is Spider-Man versus the Punisher. Which, by the way, came out in 2000. Collectors, I am first shot. In this book, which is a very loose take on Punisher's debut from Punisher from Amazing 129. So, in this book here, which, who does this book? Okay, so, this one shot came out in 2000, mind you. The writers are Joseph Harris and Michael Lopez. That's crazy in the book. Or Punisher is going after some people. The Jacko's involved. It's almost like this book was just a expansion upon basically his debut for 129. It's like, that's kind of what this book is. And of course, Jackal is here. So is this basically expanding upon this thing? Expanding upon the debut? It's possible this book is. We have basically killing off a character named Grinder. Yes, this weird guy who just looks like the Punisher for some random reason. But unlike the Punisher book and the Punisher X's one-shot, this book is not bad. It's better than we had before. And next we have is just the Marvel Knights Doubleshot #4. Now the opening story is focused on Iron Fist. That's done by Gene Ha, which I'm reading the issue here. It's a real. I like this story here. I like the Marvel Knights Doubleshots here. The backup story, which is done by John Ferreira, artwork by Alberto Panici, which is basically Punisher trying to take people out. We also have Daredevil here too. Lots of action. Also, Black Widow's here as well. It doesn't really resolve much anything per se of this book. I gotta say, of the books, of the stuff published in this trade paperback, the main Punisher issues are bad. Punisher Xmas, there's one shot, just Punisher killing random people. I would say best one is Spider-Man vs. Punisher and the Doubleshot, which is basically the story is called Serious People Plus. I love the art by Glenn Fabry. Yeah, and the Punisher in this book, yeah, this is just after his appearance in JLA Avengers #1. Yet for some reason, this story here is technically a Black Widow story that they decided to randomly throw into the trade paperback because why not? While we're going to get this book, I give Marvel Knights Punch by Peyer and Gutierrez Taxi Wars a 6 out of 10. Yes. Actually, no. 3 out of 10. The book is that bad. Oh my gosh. Like, as much as I love the Punisher, it just like, wow. It's like you read these issues, you're like, what the heck did Tom Peyer think he was doing with this Taxi War story arc? Yeah, let's have a gangster take over a taxi, taxis fight each other for 4 straight issues. You're like, what the heck is this? By the way, Medallion killed off by the finale. Yeah, I mean, you want to think, okay, if you ask me personally, what is the best thing about the Punisher issues? The Tom Broad Street artwork, the cover artwork, is amazing. Yeah, by the way, this 5th volume was the first volume he did do. He did this entire volume. He did the first 12 issues, then he left. But then he came back for Punisher Volume 6. You think, okay, did he come to do the previous volume? Actually, no, he did, okay, so he did the Welcome Back Frank stuff. He did the relaunch. The cover artwork for all 37 issues. The Max book he did from issue 1. I think he did all the issues. I'm trying to look at it right now. Okay, he did do all 60 issues of the Garth Ennis stuff. Yes. And of course, he did the covers for Wolverine Flies the Spider, Punisher Max Naked Kill, Luke Cage Noir, Punisher Noir, Punisher Max Naked Castle, bunch of several Hot Rods of Death, Tiny Ugly World, Bullseye Perfect Game, Iron Man Rapture, Issue Generation Hope. He came back to Punisher years later for an issue of the Nathaniel Emerson run, which was really good run, by the way. Came out very sporadically. The last book he ever worked on for Marvel Comics was the opening issue. Actually, it was a variant cover for the first issue of Matthew Rosenberg's run on Punisher. Yeah, he did a variant cover for the book. He also did the opening issue of Luke Cage. Let's see, I'm looking right now. What could be his last cover work? It wasn't that one. Nope. Was it Bullseye? Nope. I'm looking right now. What could have been his last? Let's see. Nope. So the last book he finished the cover for was back in 2011 with Iron Man Rapture. Yes, that mini-series was the last one he ever did the covers for. That was back in 2011. So nowadays he just does variant covers. But never met Tim Broadstreet, but I love his artwork he did Punisher. I love it. Yep. By the way, looking forward to doing more Punisher when it's not this bad stuff here. Yep. So yeah, that's Pick Up Tick of You. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I'm just going to go ahead and just work on the next 2 episodes of Daily Life in the Line Shop because I'm talking for almost 40 minutes. Okay? For the next video. Bye.